Sup guys, Heking here, bringing you a review on the latest Naruto Shippuden episode. So yeah, let me just give you, I haven't done a Shippuden episode for a while now. As of this point, we have, after today's episode, that's now over, we have 8 more episodes left. Apparently, supposedly. No, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, again, I'm 100% confident we're not going to get any more filler bullshit. Like, we got 8 more episodes left. We know the next 3 are canon. So, hopefully the last 5 will be canon as well. But, yeah, I haven't, what was the last review I did? I don't even remember, but, I want to do a review about the previous episodes quickly. So, episode, was it, what? I'm just going to go with the 600 numbers in it, 670 I think. That was the episode with, when they get Sasuke back from the other dimension. That was a good episode, animation and art-wise. That was a very good episode, mostly because of the kind of story elements that they were using for it in terms of developing the characters, what Naruto and his clones, for example, and the relationship between, not even the relationship, but the kind of strength that Sakura showed in getting a big moment and saving Sasuke along with Obito. But what I mean with Naruto and his clones, for example, is the irony. I mean, there was a lot of irony in that episode in terms of how certain characters could have died if not for the simple ironic coincidences that occurred during it. So for example, with Naruto, you know, he tried to get through that dimension to save Sasuke. If he had gone through, he would have been alone, and because, you know, he wasn't a clone, he would have gotten killed by that one-shot kill from Kaguya. Because it was his clone that went through, several things happened. One being that when the clone died, you know, and the consciousness transferred to Naruto, he realized that Sakura and Obito were trying to save Sasuke. So he was, you know, he was like, cool, they can do that. And then of course the clone being killed by the bone attack, he realized what Kaguya's very special ability was, so he was more careful about that. So that's kind of the brilliance of the episode in terms of how it tied back to something that was previously discussed and said about Naruto's clones when he was learning about them a bit more, in terms of how they can help him transfer certain information and knowledge and that to help him with strategies and battles. So that was a nice callback to that. And then of course you had that moment with Obito and Sakura, and again the coincidence with that is how lucky she was that they had opened, that there was even an acid portal. I mean, we only see that dimension just once for that one occasion. We never go back to it during any other fights, but it's just ironic that that was there, that even existed. I mean, if that hadn't happened, if they hadn't opened that dimension up, that acid wouldn't have spilled out, it wouldn't, and you know, Sakura wouldn't have tried protecting Obito, and she wouldn't have gotten hurt, which means she wouldn't have thrown her jacket on the floor, causing Sasuke to use that to teleport himself out of the sand dimension and back to them. It makes you wonder what would have happened if that hadn't occurred. Like, would he have sacrificed Sakura, or would he have sacrificed Obito? Because think of it this way: if he had sacrificed Obito, then they would have been screwed, because Obito would have needed Sakura's chakra to open a dimension, a portal out of there, and he would have been too weak and he would have died, and those two would have been trapped there until, you know, Sasuke would have learned how to use that eye of his, which probably would have taken years to get them out. And then of course, if it had been Sakura, again, they probably would have been maybe not that screwed, because Sasuke could have just transferred a bit of his energy to Obito to get them out, maybe, perhaps. But yeah, it's just that episode was just a bunch of lucky coincidences and irony, really. And that's what helped save all of those characters' lives in the end. Then of course, last week's episode I think was a bit of a hit and miss for everyone, mostly because of the fact that it was very flashback heavy, what with stuff we've seen previously. I mean, it started off very decently enough, with Obito kind of seeing Sakura as Rin and flashing back to those moments, but it dragged on for too long. I mean, we've seen that shit a dozen times. We don't need to see it 100 more times in it. And the last half, which was canon, obviously, was great. It was nice, but too damn short, if you will. And sort of the emotional sort of investment for his character just kind of wasn't there. I mean, it's understandable why they're doing it, because they have to spread these episodes out in order to reach that specific number that they're aiming for. But also because it was kind of obvious that they would stretch these 2 chapters out with Obito's death, because it's Obito's death. He's one of the most important centric characters of the storyline in Naruto, because he is essentially the main villain of the series. You know, people are going to say no, it's Madara or Black Zetsu. No, they're not the main villains. They're antagonists, but they're not the main antagonist. Obito/Toby was the main antagonist of the series. Once we got past part 1 and we were introduced to Akatsuki and Toby came in, and we found out how powerful he was as it gradually went on, he was pretty much the main antagonist. He's the one that started it all. He's the one that went and caused a lot of the shit to happen in the series. You know, killing Minato, Kushina, having Nine-Tails being transferred to Naruto. He's responsible for a lot of the shit that happened. Screwing up Nagato. Madara did one thing, and that was mess with Obito and Rin. That's it. But everything else was Obito's hands. So really, he kind of deserves this long extended death, if you know what I mean. Think of it like this: Neji, for example, deserved to get like an episode to devote himself, and he didn't. He got that one moment and it was done. But with Obito, yeah, I know it feels like they're dragging it out, but in a way it's acceptable as well, because he is such a big important character. So I guess it was acceptable for them to do that. But it doesn't make the previous episode that good. It could have been better done. But this week's episode was an improvement, mostly because it wasn't just one big flashback and it canon. No, what it did this week was jump between the canon and the flashback material. Like every time Obito said something, it related to something that happened in his youth. So we cut to that for a minute or two, and then we back to the canon material and then back to the flashback. But it was a nice balance and pacing, because you got a moment, because basically you're pretty much getting your canon's worth in terms of what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Like, it's not just you sitting there going, oh, it's filler, and then you look at your watch and it's like 10 minutes later, then it's canon. No, it's like filler, 1 minute later, canon, 1 minute, so on, so on, so on. So it was paced organically, and for us the pacing was better done compared to last week's. There was also an extra added filler flashback material, not a flashback, but something where, that moment where Obito sees himself as the Hokage, and we get an extension of that with Kakashi giving him the hat, telling him that he's Hokage now and helping him out, and he's just seeing his life and how he would have interacted with everyone, and Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura being there as well and talking with him as he's wandering. That was a nice added moment they put in there. So that was beautiful, really. And again, this episode really helped get the emotions out a bit more regarding Obito's death, as he was slowly crumbling away into ashes. So it had more of an impact and was more meaningful, especially with the added action parts with Sasuke versus Kaguya, and Black Zetsu just being this grinny, heartless bastard that he is. So overall, the episode this week was brilliantly done. Everything to him crumbling away and dying, and giving Naruto having these big moments by slicing Kaguya's arm off. The animation was a bit icky. Yeah, it's just a simple kind of twirling around, but it was nice overall. And it's obviously the best moment, of course, was, I think we'll all be waiting for that moment, because we read it in the manga. Obito was the coolest guy ever. Instead of coolest guy, it's now been changed to he was the most awesome, or something to that. Yeah, he didn't say awesome. He was the most awesome guy, or he was to me, Obito was just awesome, or Obito was an awesome guy. So yeah, I don't know which translation people like prefer better, coolest or awesome. They both work, in my opinion. I think the video game Ninja Storm 4 did it a bit better by having Kakashi be the one going around saying, "Don't laugh at my dead friend," to Black Zetsu, and Naruto just getting pissed off and slicing his arm off without having to say anything. Because I think that was a bit more meaningful coming from Kakashi than it did coming from Naruto. But I guess they just tried to show how far Naruto came in forgiving Obito for all the shit he did, which was understandable considering what, how fucked up Madara made him. But yeah, decent episode. Nice send off for Obito. The soundtrack, Obito's theme, is utterly beautiful. Seriously, the new tracks that they've been using recently from the Shippuden official soundtrack 3 are phenomenal. And Obito's variety of different themes that they use for him and Kakashi is just beautiful to listen to, and it's definitely one of my favorite theme soundtracks for this. So it's beautiful to hear, really. So it was just nice hearing it here as well. And yeah, next week, man, we're getting that final Team 7 versus Kaguya fight. And the preview for next week, I mean, the animation for that looked a bit iffy at best, which is very concerning and disheartening, because I was hoping for very great animation for that, and instead it looks like it's going to be very simple, average animation at best, which is off-putting and upsetting as hell. But what are you gonna do, right? That's can't do everything, you know. It is what it is, as they say. So, damn. But yeah, good episode today, and I can't wait for next week. And yeah, 8 more episodes to go. Holy shit! We're 3 episodes away. Well, technically we're 4 episodes away from the final fight, because the Valley of the End is just going to be a big, massive conversation between the two before we get the final proper fight in. But yeah, man, we're getting there. We're getting there. By the calculations that we have now, I'm pretty sure it's going to end in October. So yeah, close now, close. Anyway, guys, so usual, like and subscribe or whatever, and I shall see you when I shall see you. Have a great day and bye.